Well, we're here today on a live video podcast with my guest, friend, mastermind partner, member of my inner circle, Maria Dismondy. Welcome, Maria, to the Biz Chicks podcast for the second time.
Thank you for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
Well, we had some craziness getting started, but we're here, and Dr. Romy is on in the chat, and she told us to breathe. So let's just take a deep breath. I'm sure everybody listening just took a deep breath too. It's so nice to just kind of take a deep breath. Maria has been so gracious to join us. She is at a school right now. She just had a speaking engagement and was able to get a conference room. She was able to get the district to remove the firewall from Blab because I guess they don't want teachers and students on Blab during the day for some reason. So thank you so much for all the effort you went to, Maria, to be here with us today.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to introduce you and just share a little bit about how we got connected initially. And then I want to, kind of go through like how your business has changed since I last interviewed you. Maria was a guest on episode 103, a previous guest. And that's actually how we first met, was during that day on that interview. But let me tell you a little bit about Maria. Maria is a best-selling children's author. She writes books that are so wonderful and heartfelt. They help kids with their character development and kind of going through issues that you might want to talk to your kids about, but if you just talk to them about, they may not get it. But if you tell them a story about another kid going through that, then they can really internalize it and relate to it and remember it. So that is the kind of books that she writes. But Maria is a sought after speaker in her area and beyond her area. So you live in Michigan, so you speak all over Michigan, but you also speak in other states. And she's been speaking virtually to schools via Skype. So we're going to find out more about that. And there's so much more. She also coaches and consultants with other people interested in doing what she does and has a lot of balls in the air. One little known fact is she is also a spin instructor.
Oh,
so
this is true.
I wanted to add that in because I don't think we learned that in your last interview, but that's something I've learned since I met you. But this interview is part of my series on masterminds, networking, and teams. And what I'm doing as part of the series is introducing you to the women that I mastermind with every week that have become an essential part of my business. And my hope is that you will get inspired to find similar type people in your network that you can invite to mastermind with you, because I have found masterminding to be so powerful. I heard, lots of people talk about it and say that for themselves, but when you experience it in your life, a successful mastermind, it's really it's hard to explain how magical is a word that comes to mind. We motivate each other. We're all seeing huge changes in our business as a result of our time we spend together. So Maria, I want to talk about how we first met. And do you remember how we got introduced?
Uh-oh. Are you there?
Her audio is, she can't hear me. Okay. Or she can't, I don't know. Can you hear me, Maria?
I can hear you.
We can hear you back?
Yeah, it's just coming in and out a little bit, which I'm not sure why.
Okay. I will try to get closer to my mic. Maybe that helps.
Then we'll just keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, Maria and I met through Vanessa Ting, and she was a previous guest on episode 79. I had to go look it up, so I'm checking my notes. So I interviewed Vanessa Ting, and Vanessa is a retail consultant. So she has a lot of experience as a buyer and helps people get their products into big stores like Target and other huge stores like that. And so Maria was actually a client of hers for a period of time. And so I always ask and this is part of networking that I do for Biz Chicks, I always ask previous guests, do you have anyone else, now that you've been on the show, do you have anyone else that you'd recommend? And Vanessa sent me an amazing list of women. And I remember looking at Maria, and I had at the time been being contacted by a lot of authors, and I'd been turning them down. So this is new information for Maria. I don't think she's to know this, because I almost didn't interview you, Maria. which would have been life altering for me. So I'm so glad
Life
that I made the
altering for
decision.
me.
Yes. So what happened was I was like, well, I had been, my show, I was really trying to be focused about who I interviewed, and I was trying to interview women that have businesses. And so a lot of authors have amazing books, and I was getting pitched by a lot of different authors, and they had great things to share with my audience about what they had written. And a lot of, business authors too, but they didn't necessarily have a business. And I like to talk about people's entrepreneurial business, but I looked at you and I could see that you had a business going on. And what especially was interesting was that your book at the time one of your books was about to be turned into a musical, which I thought was really fascinating. And it now has been. In fact, it just was in your town. And so that's how we got connected. That's how this came to be. And then you joined a paid mastermind I hosted at the beginning of 2015. And then when that ended, I invited you to join me in my personal mastermind, because I wanted to be in a mastermind that I wasn't facilitating, that it was a peer situation, like peer to peer, because I was like, wow, this is amazing. I need this for me. And you were one of the people that I wanted to make sure was in my life, continuing to be in my life. So and you were interested in continuing to mastermind as well. So that's how this worked out. And then we formed our mastermind. At the time, it was just 3 of us, which I think shows that you can have a mastermind with just 2 people, really. And we had 3 for a while. And that it was just you and Dr. Romy Mushtak and myself for I think like a month or 2. And then we added Liz Covart, and then we added Katie Krimitso. So now we're the Fab 5, Super Chicks.
Party of 5.
Party of 5. So Maria, can you share? You're just coming off a speaking engagement today. Will you share what you talked about today and what that looks like what are you doing at schools?
So, and this is what really sets me apart from author to business owner, because I set up this business as a speaker. And what today looked like was 2 elementary schools. So I spent my morning in one building, and I spoke to 2 groups of children. So I spoke to a group of young 5s and kindergartners, and another group of 1st and 2nd graders. In total, about 600 students. And the programs are about 30 to 45 minutes for the younger kids. And I talk about the messages in my book. So I've developed, I think the last time you and I spoke, when I was interviewed a year ago, I had my bullying program and I had a literacy program. And I've developed 2 new programs. So now I have 4 different programs to offer schools. So today they had me come do my bullying program, and it's dynamic, it's interactive. I have kids come up. It's a lot of acting and role playing and learning and laughing and singing. It's amazing. Oh, and dancing. We dance. We always dance. And so I did that with the 2 groups, and then I had about 45 minutes in between, and ate a quick lunch, came over to the next school, and then I did 2 more groups with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And, the thing about being a speaker is you really have to know your audience. I cannot do the same program with kindergartners as I do with 5th graders. So I've spent a lot of time. I tell you that I have 4 programs, but I actually have 4 times 3, because for each program I have 3 differentiated levels of programs. So I have a program for like the younger preschoolers and kindergartners, and then lower elementary and upper elementary. And I think you really have to know your audience, and that's what I feel really sets me apart. Is I've learned you have to put the effort into building your business and knowing your audience to be successful.
Definitely. Maria, can you share how our mastermind has impacted your business? You've kind of been masterminding with me since the beginning of the year. But then I feel like things have really taken off for you, especially since we formed our Fab 5 group. Can you share a few things that maybe might not have happened in your business if you hadn't been in a mastermind?
Yeah, so I actually read about your applications a few days before we were taking a family trip to Mexico. And I saw that like the first meeting was going to be when I was on vacation. I thought, oh, I'm never going to be accepted to be a part of this group. I'm going to be on vacation. And I was accepted. did. I was so happy. So that was in January of 2015. And honestly, it's risk taking. And I just feel like when you are with a group of other individuals and you say you're going to take a risk, you are held accountable. You have people to go back to and to report to. And I'm an overachiever, and that is a big deal when I have to report back to someone and say, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, or to be able to go back and say, hey guys, I did it, and look at the results. And then to be able to inspire other people in the group to make things happen. So, okay, let me tell you what has changed for me, and it's been amazing. Natalie had us come up with 2 goals. Maybe you said just one, but I went for 2 because, you know, I told you I have this issue of overachieving. So I came up with 2 goals, and they were scary. I mean, like, scare me crazy, can't sleep at night because I told everybody these are my goals. One was to get a new distributor, which most authors do not switch distributors. I mean, people, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of books are sitting in a warehouse, and to switch distributors, you have to then ship those hundreds of thousands of books to a new warehouse. And then all of your accounts, I mean, I have over 200 accounts with smaller bookstores and larger bookstores, and all of those accounts have to be switched over. It's scary. So that was my first goal. And then my second goal was to have a sales rep, and another scary goal because authors don't have sales reps. It's like children's products. You know, I'm a children's book author. So typically it's children's products and boutique stores. They have sales reps come in, but they're not usually represented by authors in books. So those were my 2 goals. And it was March of 2015 that I got my first distributor. And, you know, I had to be interviewed by them, and we had to go over contracts. It was super scary. And then it was September 2015 that a sales rep approached me, and we signed a deal. So both goals, super scary goals, happened in 2015 because of the encouragement and the motivation I had from these ladies. And I honestly couldn't have done it without them. You know, I've spoken to someone recently who said, oh, well, I have a lot of business background, and I have a lot of background in marketing, and that's not what a mastermind's about. A mastermind isn't just about the educational aspect, it's the community and collaborative aspect too. So even if you have the brilliancy and the knowledge of all of this, it's the community and the support that really makes the difference.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like I can help. There's a lot of, like, I have a lot of, you know, mad business skills, I think, but I can't always see my own issues, like, and I can't help myself. And so that's when, you know, our community comes into play with having, you know, you guys be like, Natalie, this doesn't make sense. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you spending your time this way? Why do you keep having the same goal and you're not finishing it? Or why do you not want to do this? Like what, or you said you were going to do it this way, but why are you doing it that way now? So I love having that input. And that's interesting because, yeah, maybe people think, well, I don't need the help from other people. But that's why I was very intentional when we created this group was, and which is what I recommend to other people thinking of forming a mastermind, is to look for diversity around other people. Because you don't want a bunch of, you know, everybody's the same person. You know, you don't want that. You really, I find it's been very fascinating. We're all in different fields. We have different backgrounds. We have different ways of seeing the world. Different life stages, some similar, some different. And so it's just been really, really helpful to have, you know, you come from an education background and you have a speaking background and you're a writer, and to have, you know, your way of seeing things, you know, plug into my world, and probably I'm assuming vice versa, has just been amazing. And one thing I wanted to share, because a lot of people that listen to the podcast are women that are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs, and they might be saying to themselves, I'm not good at business. And I think that was something you used to say, and you've corrected in yourself. So can you share like why you used to say that, why you thought that, and what made you change that, saying that?
Yeah. So actually, I listened to my old interview with you before our interview today, and that's something that I was quoted saying, "Oh, I'm not a good businesswoman. I should stop saying that." So I didn't go to school for business. And one of my funny examples is my whole entire family, my sister, my dad, my husband, they're all in finance and real estate. And so as a teacher on my summers, one summer my dad said, "Why don't you come learn the mortgage business? Just do it in the summer." I said, "Okay, Dad, fine." So I spent my summer slaving away at numbers, and the office had a rule. Once you closed 6 loans, you got a party. So I got my party, and then I quit. I was done. I hated it. I know. I didn't like it. But here's the deal. I didn't go to school for business, but meeting with Vanessa Ting, the retail specialist, really opened my eyes, because although I don't have the business background, I have different skills. And she kept telling me I was so good at grassroots marketing and being creative and taking these creative marketing strategies and putting them into place. So I may not be a good numbers person, but I'm a good business person. I can make it work. And I think a good businesswoman has the knowledge to know that you have to hire people out on the areas that maybe you aren't as strong in, or maybe that you don't enjoy. And let's be real, I don't enjoy numbers, and I don't do numbers. And so thankfully, my husband is doing my numbers. And if he wasn't doing it, I would hire it out, because it's not what I want to be doing, and it's not my favorite thing. And this is my life, and I have one life to live, and I want to do what I'm passionate about, and I want to do what I'm good at. So yeah, I'm a good businesswoman.
You are. You are an amazing, amazing businesswoman. And you're someone I trust with my business, and someone whose advice I seek. So, and I know that the other women in our group feel that too. So you kind of touched on something, which is what I wanted to talk about, which is you're very creative in grassroots marketing and social media and how you're using it. Especially video has been very powerful for you in your business this year. Let's start with video. What are you doing with video, and how is it helping your business?
Okay, so I'm going to start with Periscope.
Okay.
I decided to focus on Periscope for 2 months. And actually I told myself I would focus on it for 1 month, but I actually really liked it. So I did it for 2 months. And my avatar, my audience is both teachers and parents. That's who I was going towards. That's who I was really speaking to. My videos were all around 2 to 4 minutes long, and they were really short, helpful tips. I was either giving tips about book reviews, or I was giving random cooking tips, because these are things I like to do. So I was having fun while doing it. I have a total of like 48 Periscopes or 52 Periscopes, somewhere around there right now. So let's take that. Let's say each one was about 2 minutes long. Let's say I put about 2 to 4 hours total into Periscope, right? Everything's recorded. Well, listen to what it's doing for me now. One,
Oh, she cut out for me. I don't know if she cut out for you guys. Maybe she'll come back. She cut out? Okay, hold on. Let me tell her she cut out. She froze. Okay, she's coming back. Give us one moment of grace, you guys. Thank you so much. Right? I think, what was going to happen? What is she doing with her content? What is grassroots marketing? Great question, Blair. What it can mean is, just a second, I'm trying to talk and let her join as well. Again, she tried to rejoin. So grassroots marketing is kind of going to the base and getting people to market for you. So kind of if you think about grassroots marketing, it's talked about a lot in politics. Someone asked what grassroots marketing is, Maria, while you were gone.
Okay.
And so it can mean, and tell me if you have a different way of saying it, it's people kind of finding out what you're doing and marketing for you. And so it starts from the bottom and builds up. Whereas like what brands do is they sell like advertising to us, and it goes down from the top down. I know that you're in you're a pharmacist, Blair, and so I'll relate this to you and your business. I think that big pharma has been doing some grassroots marketing by targeting consumers with their ads in some way. That's a type of it. Instead of just marketing to the doctors and saying, here's what you should prescribe, they've been marketing to us as consumers and saying, here's what you should ask for. So that's kind of going up that way. So that's how I would relate it to your field. But Maria, we're so excited you cut out, and you were about to say something really exciting about how you're repurposing. How are you repurposing these Periscope videos?
Okay. Am I back?
You're back. Oh man,
awesome.
You're so back.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So the first way, I'm screaming. Who's here? I don't know. The first way is on the blog. Okay. So my readers not a lot of my readers are on Periscope. They're getting that information. It's an easy way for me giving content to my readers. However, I have gotten 2 coaching clients from this avenue. So I've met 2 different people. One is a maybe, one is a for sure. And so one is signed up for me for 4 months of coaching, and that's worth my 2 to 4 hours of time that I put into Periscope by far. And if I get the second coaching client, absolutely. So I was able to make connections with a new network of people that I wasn't reaching through my blog. I wasn't reaching through Facebook. I was reaching through Periscope, and I was able to make those connections for my business. Amazing.
Yeah. I really that's what I like about Blab and Periscope. It's a new platform, a new way to reach new people, and then content, like for example, if I can just share what I'm doing with these Blabs. So I'm taking the audio from the Blab and I am turning it into, this will become my podcast that will air in 2 Tuesdays from now. So the audio only will be repurposed for my podcast. And then the video I can upload to YouTube and embed in my show notes. So people that come to the show notes for the episode, they can watch us or they can listen to us, whatever they want. And I can also take that video and pull clips from it and use those clips on all the social channels based on the amount of time they allow. But I think most beneficial will be a 1 to 2 minute clip on Facebook. I can also share those with Maria to use on her site. If I pull a clip that really is highlighting her, she can use it on her site. And so there's so much you can do with repurposing. And so I love all the things that you're doing. It's really fantastic, Maria.
Thank you.
You've done some other things with video that, what I like about what you do on all the different ways you're doing video, whether it's like posting directly to Facebook or into your Facebook group you host, is that you don't always look like perfectly camera ready.
No, I'm really, I've done a lot of reading of Brené Brown. So if anyone's heard of her, I'm just a big fan. I actually don't read her. I listen to her because while I'm driving, and she talks a lot about vulnerability and being yourself and the importance of connections with human beings. And so I believe that when people see me maybe on my website or maybe people see me on social media, they have this conception of who I am. And I really want people to see who I really am. And who that is a woman who drinks coffee and wears a robe like an 80-year-old around the house. And slippers. I also wear slippers. And so I do a lot of my video in my robe and my slippers. And I say, good morning, here's my cup of coffee. This is who I am. I had this big thing on my nose the other day. It's actually still there. I mean, I'm just putting myself out there, and I don't care because I believe in what I stand for, and I really am not worried about the judgments other people are making. But I am very concerned about people seeing the real me. So I just want people to know what I stand for and what I'm passionate about. So that's a part of it. And I've been doing that in my private Facebook group, which I just recently started about a month ago. And it's called Empowering Kids with Character. And it's a collaboration between both parents and teachers. And the conversations going on in this group have been amazing. And people are just really sharing ideas on how we can raise kids who are responsible and who feel good about themselves and confident and are doing good things. And, this is our future generation. So I'm putting myself out there, and in return, people are commenting and feeling it's a safe place for them to be themselves. And, I don't want to share everything that's happening because it's a private group, but people are sharing stories and stories that we can learn from that they wouldn't be sharing on their wall in Facebook. It just wouldn't feel, comfortable, and it wouldn't feel safe. But because they know who I am and what I stand for, I think they're more comfortable to be themselves.
Yeah. So Maria, why did you launch that group? Why, that's something new to your business, and how are you publicizing it? How are people finding it?
So I'm publicizing it through Facebook and through Twitter, and I'm talking about it on video and things like that. I haven't done a ton of advertising, but the group is growing. I'm actually asking the group to help me advertise and invite other friends who you think this would be valuable to.
Which is grassroots marketing.
Yes. Which I wanted to add something about grassroots marketing. The way I view grassroots marketing, other than going from like the ground up, is also utilizing the resources you have. So I started this business and I didn't have a lot of income to start. And so I needed to think of creative ways to market with what I did have. And a lot of that is utilizing the people in my community and, different readers, and having them share about my book, and word of mouth was a big part of our grassroots marketing. So anyways, going back to my group, thank you, Katie. Katie's a member of my group, and I took her course on Facebook groups to learn a lot about how to run a group. And I learned a lot from being a part of Natalie's group as well. But my answer to your question, why I started the group, is because I really wanted to be able to have a place where people could feel that they were taking action and they were making a difference. Not everyone's going to write a children's book. Not everyone's going to go speak to 1,000 kids in one day. But people who have relationships with children, whether it be a caregiver, a grandparent, or a teacher, or a parent, I want to provide them with the skills and the tools of what they can do today to make a difference in their child's life. And I don't want them to feel like they have to read parenting.com until 3 a.m. to learn this stuff. I mean, let's just collaborate and use the skills that this community has and share with each other what works, what doesn't work, and start from there.
Maria, I love the videos that you are doing are really amazing, because I think that what people like and what people resonate with is it feels like the real you. In fact, someone said it felt like they were having coffee with you when you were like, here I am with my cup of coffee, I got my glasses on and my robe on, and she looks adorable no matter, she can have a paper bag over her and she looks adorable. So
thank you.
So that I think it's just a great lesson for all of us, no matter what your business is the more you can be vulnerable, share. People want to know you. They want to learn about your life. And video really, it accelerates the know, like, and trust factor, which is what people need to have in order to work with us or buy from us. So, I think that you're doing such a great job with that. What you're doing, and then you've gotten really active on Twitter and Instagram as well. You've really kind of become this like social media maven, which I don't even know that you realize you are now. But tell us about how you use Instagram and how you use Twitter. Okay,
so Instagram is anyone who's on here, I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram. It's at Maria Dismondy Inc. INC. Instagram, I love it because a hobby of mine is photography. I've taken several classes. I own a really nice camera that I hardly use anymore because of my iPhone 6 and because of having 3 children. It's hard to lug it around, but I love photography. And so Instagram's a really fun media platform for me because I can take pictures of things that are happening in my life and share with people, what does the life and job of an author look like on a daily basis? And I will tell you, you have to think creatively, like little blabs. And probably about a month ago, I took a picture, kind of like what we're doing right now. I took a picture of me doing a virtual visit, and I made sure none of the children's faces were in there because of how that works. And I put it on my Instagram. I got a virtual visit job from that post. I did it again about 2 weeks later. I got another virtual visit job from that post. I'm being honest, people, this stuff works and this stuff is amazing. And I think because these people have seen me posting, they see who I am, they trust me, they then hired my services. So a virtual visit, I'm doing my programs. So I've been doing a lot of programs in California, which is pretty amazing. And I'm sitting at my house. I'm normally not in my robe. I dress up a little bit nicer for these. And I'm talking to kids and I'm sharing my messages through the internet. And then they have the children sitting in front of a large screen. And we have kids come up to the video and they ask questions. And I can't say it's as good as if I'm in the room with the kids, but it's better than me not being there. So that's just one way Instagram has really worked. And then I'll switch over to Twitter. One of my things with Twitter is I am trying to join Twitter parties. I tried doing it every week, and that was a little overwhelming. So now I'm doing every other week, and I'm going to really focus on 1 month. But joining different Twitter parties that have an audience of, you know, people in my field, so teachers, parents. A lot of authors aren't active on social media, so I'm not really connecting with actual authors. I am some, but more along the line of my avatars. So I'm joining these Twitter parties and you're talking about a certain topic and then you're making communication through Twitter parties. You're making these friendships with these people and they become a part of your tribe and your network. So I'm actually hosting a Twitter party this Sunday and I hosted one a couple months ago and it was amazing. I think I had like 30 to 40 people actively involved. I had book sales afterwards. I had questions about school visits, virtual visits. Again, it's just another way of connecting with people. But I have to be honest, I'm not like out there on my own. I definitely have my virtual assistant helping me post that I have given her. So she's not creating anything on her own that I haven't, you know, said this is okay. But she's posting content for me and scheduling it for me because I don't have time in the day to always do the scheduling. So I definitely get help there on Twitter and on Facebook and on Google. But Instagram's my own little baby, and my Facebook group is also my own network that I do on my own.
Let's talk about, I feel like it's so creative that you're doing virtual speaking engagements. And I think that it would be interesting for people to think about that in terms of their business. I know there's a lot of people that listen that are also interested in speaking or doing work virtually. So like I do coaching virtually and I know other people that do as well. And, you know, there's a lot of, it's the world has opened up with the internet. I mean, your customers can be anywhere. And so can you share a little bit, like, how does that work? And it seems really unusual and different for a school to hire you to give a presentation via Skype.
Yeah. So my first motivation was because I was getting invited to fly all over the country for school visits. And it's just, I'm not at a place in my role as a parent to be leaving my children for school visits outside of Michigan. So I had heard of virtual visits before and I started doing the research and I created a program. And the first school I tried it out with, I did it for free. I said, hey, I'm just trying this out. Let's be honest, give me good feedback. And it worked. And it's been great ever since. We use Skype and we've tried Google Hangouts before. And it's usually about 30 to 45 minutes. Again, I limit it to about 200 kids in the room. The teachers are there handling classroom management. And then kids get to come up and ask questions. But what I want to share is my experience my husband had, I think it was a week ago. So his company wanted him to go to a conference. It's a one-day conference, just one day, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. It was in California. So my husband left on Sunday and flew in like Monday morning, drove like 3 or 4 hours, stayed the night in a hotel, woke up the next morning, went to the conference. It was like 3 to 4 days of traveling for one conference. And I thought, why? All the money that the company had to pay for him to rent the car, to fly, and then the time that he had spent not being able to work, being away from his family, I thought, can't they think of a different way of doing this in this day and age? This is like insane. And I know networking, and I know I just went to a conference last week, and the power of being in front of people is really fantastic. It is. But I think having other options is really nice too.
Yeah. It's
like summits.
Yeah, like virtual summits. Virtual summits are awesome. So Maria, what's coming next for you in your business? What are some of the things that that you're you're working on, and you always have like new things that you have going on and want to try out. What are you trying out next, and what's coming up?
This is a good question. It's a great question. And one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm working with a client on publishing his book. And I've never done that before. So I'm working as both a writer, co-writer with him, and I'm also working as a producer. He's an NFL player. I'm not allowed to say who he is until we get closer to the release of the book, which is in April of 2016. So that's been a new experience for me. And, you know, it involves a lot of new things like contracts and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and who's doing what and everything's clean and black and white. So that's one project. Another project I'm working on is developing a new, oh, thank you. Sometimes I get distracted by all those little happy claps. Appreciate it, everyone. Another thing I'm working on is I'd like to develop a new program because I think the more you have to offer, the better. So again, I have 4 programs right now, so I'd like to start developing another program. And maybe it looks a little bit different. Maybe the program isn't for schools. Maybe that program is for writers, and it could be an e-course. Maybe it's a different webinar. I do offer free webinars right now on publishing and on marketing. But my wheels are turning, and I think I want to take content that I've developed and all of my experiences and turn it into something new. And I just don't know exactly what that's going to be. But Natalie, because my mastermind group has supported me in this venture, it's not happening in 2015. It's going to be in 2016.
Yeah. So I think that's really, thank you for saying that, Maria, because I feel like that's how we help each other a lot. In fact, we did that today in our call is sometimes we help hold each other back a little bit and just say, you have a lot on your plate right now with what you're already doing. If you try to add that, it might tip you over the edge. What if you just push it off a few months? And so we kind of helped Maria with that, and we helped someone else with that today, and they've done it for me. And so I feel like that. As entrepreneurs, as serial entrepreneurs, we have so many ideas, we can't possibly do them all. And so that's also how a mastermind or a mentor or a coach can really help you stay focused. Because if you can really focus on the things you're doing and do those extremely well, execute them as well as you possibly can, then you can move on to the next thing, get that going super well, and then move on to the next thing. But when we try to do like 5 different ideas at once and none of them really get the full attention we need, it can sometimes go to pot, so to speak. Like it just may not work at all. So I appreciate you saying that. I had an idea for you now that you were talking about what you could create. I'm sure there's a ton of speakers that would love to know how to do a virtual visit. People that do how to do virtual speaking. That could be a course.
That's a good one. Hey, that's a good one for 2016.
Not for 2015, but for 2016. Well, Maria, how can everyone connect with you? We put a few things in the chat here on Blab, but for everyone listening on the podcast, how can they reach you?
Yes, I love connecting with new people, so I'd love to hear from you on any type of social media platform. I am Maria Dismondy on all platforms except for Instagram. It's Maria Dismondy Inc. And I think I'm most active on Instagram and Instagram. That would probably be my most
Instagram
active.
And Instagram.
And I'm spending a lot of time in my private Facebook group right now because I'm just really enjoying making those connections. So if anyone out there is a teacher or a parent and you want to know, more about raising these little people to be great human beings, and see other people who make mistakes and get back up and keep on going, then please find us over on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/groups/empowering kids with character.
Or I think if you just go into the little box on Facebook and search Empowering Kids with Character, I'm sure it will pop up.
That's even easier.
So, but we will also have the links and the link to your Facebook group in the show notes for this episode, so people can check that too. Well, Maria, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you've had a long day already, and you got to get home to those awesome kiddos. Maria's a mom of 3. I'm not sure if we mentioned that already, but she's a busy mom of 3. Her oldest is in 1st grade, and she's She's an awesome mom, awesome at organizing, awesome, has so many great ideas for parenting and being creative with your kids. And so definitely check out her Periscopes and her Facebook group as well. And Maria, thank you so much for being in my mastermind, for being my friend, and for being a guest again on the Biz Chicks podcast.
Thank you. And I have to tell you, I'm on an island right now, and they told me that getting off the island can be a little bit difficult. So I'm curious to see how this goes. But
well, we sincerely hope you get off the island, Maria.
Think of me. I feel like I'm on Lost. Get off the island. Thanks, everyone. And I hope to connect later with you.
Bye, Maria. Thank you so much.